Moving on to another player wanting out, another player in distress, another toxic situation, again, different from the Deshaun Watson case. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is 25 years old, and what was it, a year ago? 2 years ago, maybe? I think it was a year ago. Signed a multi-$30 million deal, a max contract. 25 years old. This kid is a stud. One of the best defenders in the league. Was runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year last year. All-NBA, or all-defensive team in the NBA. Great passer. Passes like magic compared to LeBron in terms of size. 6'10". Runs the point. Can rebound. Insane IQ. Great IQ. One of the best probably in the NBA right now. But the point of basketball is to get the ball in the hoop. Ben Simmons doesn't do that. He doesn't shoot. He's scared to go to the free throw line. And his mentality in shooting is completely off when it matters. I've seen Ben Simmons in a game with like 2 seconds left and Philadelphia's losing, just throw up a three and he hits it. You see, of course, these videos come out during the summer. Oh, Ben's shooting from three and he's hitting them. He's draining all these threes. That's great. That's awesome. But that doesn't matter when you can't do it in a game. The problem with Ben Simmons is not like Markelle Fultz. You know, his shoulder. There's something wrong with Markelle Fultz's shoulder. He couldn't shoot. It's not like Lonzo Ball. His form is out of whack. Ben Simmons' problem is between the ears. Ben Simmons, there's a mental block when it comes to Ben Simmons and his ability to shoot. We saw this in Game 7 of Round 2 last year. Philadelphia was playing Atlanta. Listen, I said at the start of the playoffs last year, Philadelphia, of the big teams in the East, Philly, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. I would usually consider Boston in that, but Boston didn't have a great year. They didn't seed where they should have been. Whatever. Of those three teams, Brooklyn, Philly, and Milwaukee, Philly had the easiest path to get to the finals. Brooklyn and Milwaukee had to face each other. They also had to face Miami. There was other competition that they had to face. It was a tougher road for them to get there. Milwaukee obviously we know they ended up getting to the finals and they won the NBA championship. I'd be willing to bet that if Ben Simmons was half the player that he should have been for last year's postseason, we might be having a different conversation. I think Philly would have went to the finals, and I don't think the Phoenix Suns should have been there. That's a whole other story. I think they got lucky, but we could be talking about Ben Simmons, NBA champion, Joel Embiid, Finals MVP. We could be having a totally different conversation. Not to mention those two players, you're also having a conversation about Doc Rivers, because there was a lot of talk about him, at least from me being a Clippers fan from the season prior. But the thing is, they faced against the Atlanta Hawks in the second round. Game 7, final minute or two. Very close game, 80 by like two or 3 points. Ben Simmons drives the line. I think I can't remember who he had on him, either Collins, maybe it was Gallinari. Fakes him out, spins him out. Easy, under the bucket, layup. This man sees Trae Young running towards him to be second defender and to, at least cause some ruckus for Ben Simmons in the paint. And he absolutely fluked out and passed the ball. You are Ben Simmons, a 6'10", guard forward, and you decide that you need to pass the ball, passes it to Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle misses, goes to the free throw line. I think he missed one of his free throws. Resulted in them losing the game, resulted in them losing the series. I don't know what to say when it comes to Ben Simmons, because he has all the makings to be an NBA superstar, one of the best players in the league. But he can't shoot. He is LeBron 2.0 if he learns how to shoot. And he learns how to shoot in the game. But now we have Ben Simmons demanding a trade after signing a 4 or 5 year, $30 million plus deal. Demanding a trade, saying he's not showing up to camp, not playing a single game for Philadelphia. Demanding a trade because he's upset by how the media's treated him, upset by how the fans have reacted to him, upset by the comments that Joel and Doc Rivers made after the game. And I know people will be like, "Oh, he had a bad playoff series. He's still a really good player." That's not the problem, that he had a bad playoff series. The problem is you're paying this guy over $30 million a year. He's one of the faces of your franchise. You've invested a lot of time and money into him. And you had to sit him in the fourth quarter because he couldn't shoot, because he was scared to shoot. And they know, the opposition knows that if they need to, they can foul Ben Simmons. They can hack a Shaq Ben Simmons, send him to the line because he's going to miss. It's not like Ben Simmons always misses these shots, but something happens. I think, his first quarter analytics compared to his fourth quarter analytics are completely different. Something happens to Ben Simmons when it matters most. He chokes. He can't play in high pressure situations. Therefore, he can't play in high pressure places. Philly's not the spot for you then. And I know it's not like he picked to go to Philly. He was drafted to Philly. Philly is one of, I don't want to say toxic, let's say polarizing. Because you can be a bum in Philly, but you work hard, you try hard, and the fans will love you. The media will love you. Rocky Balboa, the city of brotherly love. I know he's a fictional character. The Broad Street Bullies, Philadelphia Flyers. AI. These guys were grit grinders. Nick Foles, bro. What? Nick Foles is not a superstar. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and they wanted to build a statue of Nick Foles outside of their arena. You just need to work hard, and you just need to put in the work effort. But Ben Simmons doesn't do that, and I get the modern day player, it's more than just basketball. But especially in a city like Philadelphia, you need to leave everything out. They love Joel Embiid because that guy works his ass off and leaves everything out there. Polarizing player. Love him or hate him. He's kind of a troll in the media, on social media. Joel Embiid works really hard, and he's a really good player. Ben Simmons can do that, but he doesn't. He can't shoot. He doesn't seem to want to get better. And when, the going gets tough, the tough gets going. The soft gets going. When the going gets tough, the soft gets going. Ben Simmons is soft, 100%. And that's fine. Some players can't play in difficult markets. Some players can't play with the New York Knicks. Or just in the city of New York. Some players can't play in the city of Boston, the city of Philadelphia, the city of, Chicago even. I would even say LA or Toronto in their own right, in their own specific sports, are difficult cities to play in. And that's fine that you can't play in that. But then you go to a team like Minnesota. Go to a team like Sacramento. Because you're clearly not cut out for an organization like the Philadelphia 76ers. So, like I mentioned, he's going to be sitting out. That's what he says. And apparently per game, I think he's going to lose $250,000 per game, basically. And that's the other thing. Ben Simmons says he wants to go to the state of California. Just shut up. Honestly, you can't be out. You can't have the performance that you had in the playoffs last year. Whine about where you want to go, sit out, and then say, no, I'm not going to go. I don't want to go to Portland. I don't want to go to New York. I don't want to go here. I want to go to California. You don't get to pick and choose, guy. Sit out, and where Philly deals you is where Philly deals you. I mean, we look at the Kawhi Leonard situation a couple years ago. There was medical issues. He was disgruntled with how the medical team was handling his case in San Antonio. Said, I'm going to sit out until you trade me. I want to be traded. I would like to go to one of the LA teams. That's what he had said. Where did San Antonio trade him? Not LA. Probably the furthest spot away from LA, in a whole other country, to Toronto. Now, luckily, Kawhi did something great in Toronto, and he won them a championship, but you don't. If Kawhi didn't get to pick and choose and say, this is where I want to go, bro, you don't get to pick and choose either. I know recently we've seen Anthony Davis and James Harden, and they've kind of forced themselves to go where they want to go. Nah. Because the differences between those two teams and Philadelphia, they weren't competing for an NBA championship. Philadelphia 76ers are a NBA championship contender. New Orleans and Houston, without those two players, weren't competing for a championship. So they had a lot more leverage in the say. Philly can rock all year. Bro, you sit out, you lose all your money, they don't care. Why would they care? If they're performing well and they can, find success in their team, they can find cohesion without Ben Simmons and without having to trade him up. Why am I in a rush? Your value's at an all-time low right now. Let a team come to me when they actually need you. If they got off to a weak start, like a Portland, I think Portland's start is the most important thing to watch for the NBA season this year. Because, again, if Portland doesn't start out so hot, then I would imagine that they're going to go ahead and look at possibly getting Ben Simmons. But if Philly's doing fine, if Philly's not, 0-8 in the first 8 games, why would I be rushed to get rid of you? You're not costing me anything. You're costing yourself your own money. $250,000 each game that you don't play. So whatever, man, sit out, do your thing, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see for sure.